Everybody loves straight teeth. Some people have done braces, Invisalign, Candid, or Smile Direct Club. And today, I'm gonna review or react to a video I found on YouTube. A lot of people, if you're considering Smile Direct Club, you may have gone on to the different reviews or to YouTube to check on some of the videos that are out there related to Smile Direct Club. And to be honest, I personally saw some folks had good experiences and there's some folks that had bad experience. And one in particular had a really bad experience, it sounds like. So let's jump right into it and share with you some thoughts about this young woman's experience with Smile Direct Club.
A part of me has died. Like, my tooth literally died.
Whoa. Right off the bat, boom, tooth is dead. What does that mean? Let's find out what she's talking about.
Hey everyone, so in this video, I want to talk about my experience with Smile Direct Club. So if you watched my video about my bedtime routine, you saw that I was putting in my liners and I shared with you that I was doing Smile Direct Club, but it's been a really difficult journey for me. Well, a couple weeks ago, that journey got incredibly difficult and I almost lost my front tooth. So during the week of Thanksgiving, I had put in new aligners and they were really painful.
Most aligners, a new aligner is going to make your teeth sore. So that's not crazy, right? Sore teeth happen when you move them with braces, Invisalign, but the teeth don't know what is straightening them. They just feel the pressure, and the pressure is what leads to soreness. So a new tray may not be the end of the world, but let's see what else she wants to say about this.
Like, it was really, really painful. And I was just like, okay, you know, they're shifting my teeth, so of course it's gonna hurt. I should mention that the reason why I was doing Smile Direct Club was to correct my gaps. I don't have...
Check out our other video. That gap right in the front is called a central diastema. A lot of people can have them. Some people have really big diastemas, some people have small ones, and depending on the reason for the space, there may be different, or you may need different things to try and take care of it.
Have a problem with gaps at all. I didn't even notice I had a gap until it was pointed out to me in college when I was made fun of and I was told that I would be prettier without my gaps, and that really hurt.
Ouch. In our society, in the orthodontic profession, what we consider the ideal, right? If you go to every orthodontist, they will tell you that generally speaking, you want to close all the spaces. Now, people that have spaces in between their teeth, does that mean that they're not prettier? They don't look good? No, this young lady is very pretty, and nobody should be treated like that. So be kind to each other. Just because you have a gap doesn't mean that it doesn't look good. But in the orthodontic profession, what we're taught in the schools is that generally speaking, the finished result is all the spaces closed.
It really, really hurt, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna close my gaps. And when I decided to do this in college, like I tried using a rubber band and I woke up bleeding.
No, don't do the rubber band. In my head, that to me can be dangerous because the little rubber band that we use to like fix bites, some people will take that rubber band and squeeze them around their teeth, like right in the front to pull them together. Well, what can happen over time is that rubber band can just get displaced up higher and higher and higher under your gums, and like worst case scenario, your teeth, you know, you lose bone in that area, you lose bone, you lose the gums in that area, and those teeth just boop, come out. No bueno. Don't do the rubber bands. Don't do the rubber bands around your teeth.
And I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like, it was bad, and I was just like, you know what, this person just wasn't a nice person. Like, that's it. And so I was just like, you know what, fine. I'm just gonna appreciate who I am, I'm gonna accept who I am, and I'm gonna love my gap because it's beautiful. And so I told myself this, and I believed it for a while, and then this year, I don't know, I just felt like I want to change. I just felt like if I was doing Smile Direct Club was to correct my spacing. I'm not against anyone who's doing it to fix that, but like, that was just me. So I switched the liners and I put them in. This is month 2, so I'm still like pretty early in the journey. And I put them in, they're really tight. It was so bad, like I couldn't even like eat. You know, like I have to take them out to eat. Like, all I could eat were mashed potatoes, which is fine with me because it was like the week of Thanksgiving, so it was like whatever.
It was Thanksgiving.
So I take out my aligners on like 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I noticed that like my left tooth, like a different color kind of, but it's like a tint. It's not like anything that's noticeable, but I was like, oh, maybe there's just a shadow from the mirror. Like, I wasn't like thinking anything of it. So I still have it in my teeth. And then on Thanksgiving, I'm like at my sister's house and I noticed that like it's getting darker. And I'm like, why is my tooth like a different color.
A little bit
so
darker.
I'm like, okay, like, I'm not gonna put these aligners back in because I don't know what's going on and I'm a little scared. So it's whatever, Thanksgiving, you know, where families there hanging out, having a good time. So the next morning I wake up and I'm like talking to my dad and my niece, like we're all playing with her and stuff. And then I was just like, yeah, I think I need to go to the dentist. Like my tooth is like a little darker. You probably can't notice it. And my dad is like, yeah, no, I do notice it. And at this point I didn't look in the mirror yet and look at my tooth because I literally just woke up. And then I run to the bathroom and notice that my tooth is now like gray and very
Yep, that definitely is grayer, more gray.
And I like go to my mom and I'm like, do you notice my tooth? She's like, yeah, what is that? And like I had showed my sister the night before and she didn't really see it, but now she was like, whoa, it definitely got worse like overnight. Like, how did that happen? And I'm like, I don't know. It's the day after Thanksgiving and I'm freaking out. My mom is freaking out. My dad.
Yeah, everybody's closed on Thanksgiving. What do?
Dad is just like, this is why you shouldn't do online things that professionals need to be doing. And I'm like, you're not helping me right now. Like,
Yes, you do have to be careful with some of those online services.
I'm just like going crazy. And so my sister, she reaches out to a dentist that's like nearby. She's just like, okay, I know this dentist, like he's nerve damage, your tooth died. And I'm like, excuse me? So I'm like, oh my gosh, like you just can't be on Google. And it's like Google's telling me like you're gonna lose your tooth and like it's gonna turn black. And I'm just like when I tell you, I was just like,
Mr.
So we call the dentist and we explain everything and she's just like, okay, we can get you in at 1. This is like our flat rate charge for individuals who don't have insurance. Like this is what you'll pay. So he looks at my tooth, he like touches it, is looking at it with the light and he's like, okay. He was just like, you know what, before I share what I think it is, let's get an x-ray. I was like, I'm sure you're not gonna say anything worse than what Google has told me. He's like, what did Google say? I'm like, Google said that I'm gonna lose my tooth. He was just like, he's like, okay, let's not go there. Let's get an x-ray. So he takes an x-ray and then he's just like, okay, there might be an issue. And I was like, clearly there is because my tooth is gray. He's just like, okay, but I'm going to try one more thing to see like if this is real.
Just in case anybody is not clear, teeth are supposed to be white. Some variation of white, not gray.
Really what I think it is. I can't tell based off the x-ray like any different from that tooth. Like I'll put the x-ray here and I don't see any different with the other tooth. So I don't know if that really determined anything, but so then he took like this cold, he sprayed something on a Q-tip and he was just like, okay, I'm going to put this on your tooth and let me know what you feel. So he put it on my tooth and I didn't feel anything. So I was like, okay. And then
that is a cold test. Teeth are very alive teeth that have nerves that are, very healthy, right? If you stick something really, really cold on it, it's gonna, yeah, probably would have felt something there.
He put it on my tooth next to it and then it got really cold. And I was like, oh, that's cold. He was like, all right. So your tooth has experienced nerve damage and it's no longer viable. The nerve died and your tooth is no longer getting any blood supply. Something along the lines. I'm not a dentist, so if you're a dentist and you're watching this and I'm saying the wrong things, I'm sorry. But this is what I remember.
No longer viable.
And so he said your tooth is no longer viable. Like you need to get a root canal as soon as possible because what's going to happen is your tooth is going to start getting inflamed and then it's going to eventually like push your tooth out and
I don't know about your tooth actually coming out. She made a reference here that was very nice of her. She's trying the best as she can. Love it. But if you have a tooth that's dead and the dead stuff is kind of in the bone, it can lead to bigger infections. So you don't want to leave a dead tooth in place unmanaged for too long. It can cause more serious problems. You just got to be careful.
He was just like, so like, was it painful? I was like, yeah, it was super painful. Like, I was taking prescription strength Advil. I was like, it shouldn't hurt that bad. Like, there was no way for me to know that it would have hurt that bad because, like, I never had aligners before. So I just thought, like, oh, okay, so, like, it hurts like crazy. It's just because it's shifting my tooth. Let me get over it. He was like, no, like the most you should feel is some pressure because he does Invisalign. So he knows, and he actually did it himself. So he knows like how it should feel. And so he was like, how long was it supposed to be? And I was like, 6 months. And he was like, I'm not gonna like, try to like burst your bubble or anything like that. But usually these treatments are a little longer. And so this could have been a possibility of why your tooth shifted. When I tell y'all, I was angry.
let me just say, people can want to go to something like Smile Direct Club or just like direct to consumer product, right? Something that comes straight to your house and to you. You don't have to, go through your orthodontist or dentist. And sometimes, yeah, the hope is that it's going to be faster and it's going to be cheaper. Well, initially it's probably going to be cheaper. Faster, that's questionable, because if you're trying to fix the same problems that you would fix with your orthodontist, I don't think your orthodontist tries on purpose to take longer. It's just the reality is, if you want it to be really good, it just takes that long. And if it's taking shorter, it probably means that you're not accomplishing everything that maybe the orthodontist would accomplish. Or maybe you're trying to do things like, in this case, sounds like alluding to maybe happening too fast. So much is happening too fast. Just some thoughts.
I was angry because
I could see.
I didn't think that the aligners would mess up my tooth like that.
Now, there is research out there that suggests that one of the potential risks of moving teeth is the vitality of the tooth is killed or dead or is lost. That means that the tooth dies and maybe you need a root canal. It doesn't happen very often, and so losing your tooth or the nerve dying, that can happen when you're using braces. It can happen when you're using Invisalign. It can happen, just whenever you move teeth. So
I didn't think that, but it all made sense. Like what he was saying, he was telling me you're only supposed to move your tooth like a certain amount, like per week. That's why he was asking so many questions, but I didn't know the answers as to how fast my tooth was moving. Not being followed by orthodontists is kind of dangerous, because they can kind of foresee issues that are happening.
I agree that moving teeth without appropriate supervision can be dangerous. And in fact, when individuals come to our office here in McKinney and Anna, Texas, we in fact recommend that while they're being seen by us, they still are seen by their dentist on a regular basis, sometimes even more, every 3 to 6 months, to try and maintain good hygiene. And the dentist is going to monitor the dental health as well. So if something comes up, the orthodontist and the dentist are communicating together to try and preserve your teeth and get you the smile that you want.
You send a picture after 90 days, but this was only month 2, so I wasn't even on my 90-day mark. So this was missed, obviously. So yeah, I was just really sad, and so I went to go schedule with his secretary an appointment to try to get a root canal. Mind you, I go back to New York. I was supposed to go back on. This has been such an awakening moment for me. I recognize that if you're going to get dental work, get it done by a professional. Now, if you're like me and you don't have dental insurance, it's really hard to get professional work done as an adult, because adult braces are expensive. And it's just Smile Direct was a very easy choice. And I personally knew people who did it. I was just talking to someone literally a week before who did it, and it worked out perfectly fine for her. But it doesn't work for everyone.
I agree.
And so if you don't have dental insurance, something that I learned, if only I had known this, and this is why I'm making this video, to kind of educate y'all on what you can do. You don't have to necessarily go the cheapest route and forsake the professionalism. But I don't regret it. It was a really tough journey for me, y'all. It was so painful. I couldn't eat. I honestly think I would have preferred metal braces on my mouth, because at least you don't have to take that out to eat. That was so annoying. Some people might want...
Yeah. One of the advantages of the Invisalign or any sort of clear aligner is that you can take it out and you can eat what you want. It's fantastic. But one of the disadvantages is that you take it out and you have to remember to put it back in. And sometimes you take it out and the spit's all dripping down, and that can be tough. And in this case, it's interesting. She said she would have just preferred to go with the braces. It's hard to know exactly what you would prefer until you go through something, but there's definitely advantages and disadvantages of the metal versus the clear aligners. So I'm glad that this young lady, she figured it all out. Sorry she had to go through tooth loss. I actually, first when I saw this, I was maybe she actually lost a tooth. That can happen too. You could actually lose a tooth. In her case, it sounds like the nerve was dead. She had to get a root canal and took care of some coloration, of the discoloration. She decided that, Smile Direct Club wasn't for me. I prefer to have some management by an orthodontist or the dentist. So I think that those are some good takeaways. There are probably some people that that maybe really had good success with Smile Direct Club. There are others that don't. And the questions you have to ask is, what am I trying to accomplish here? And recognize that there are risks associated with tooth movement regardless of how you move it. Whoever you move it with, whatever tool it is, there's just risks of tooth movement. Now, because there are those risks, you have to decide, do you want to have somebody that you have close contact with? I just signed up for a Tough Mudder. Not just signed up, but I did sign up for a Tough Mudder. And you know what? It's been really hard to get a hold of somebody, and it's driving me nuts. Like, I'm so excited to try and participate in a Tough Mudder because that just sounds like fun. The electric shock part, I wonder about. Anybody know about the electric shock part? But it's just been really hard that I haven't been able to get a hold of somebody. I have these concerns, these questions, and the responses are slow, and I'm like, not losing my mind. I try to keep control of my mind. But anyways, this could be the same way. I mean, think about it for your teeth, the health of your teeth. If you got all these risks and you have to decide how important is it to me to manage these risks. And the best way to manage these risks, in my opinion, as an orthodontist, is to come see us, Anna McKinney Texas, or your local orthodontist, so that you can have the supervision over time. And if certain risks start to show, they can be managed properly, or we can alter the treatment plan and continue forward, or we can incorporate a group of other dental professionals. In my opinion, that's the safest way to go, and hopefully the most predictable, and probably the most predictable way to get you what you want. All right, again, if you have any questions about your experience with Smile Direct Club or other direct-to-consumer products, or your Invisalign or your braces, leave a comment below, or come see us so that we can check out your teeth and try to help you along your journey to straight teeth and beautiful bites. That's all I've got. Just a little PFO, so you know where you're going. Packard out.